Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. Today I'm going to be doing a get ready with me as well as kind of talking about being Mormon or LDS. I got asked by a couple of subscribers after my little Halloween video to kind of talk more about being Mormon, and I'm just gonna let you guys know this makes me completely nervous. Like, very nervous. Like, nervous to the point where I had to write my thoughts down. I'm gonna let you guys know I don't think I am an expert on my religion by any means. So I'm going to have a couple links down below. I'm going to link Mormon.org as well as LDS.org. That way, if you guys have more questions or I didn't do a good job explaining something, you guys can go kind of check it out. You can also leave questions in the comments and I will try my best to answer them. I, again, am not an expert by any means and completely nervous to do this video. I'm actually just using my Milk Makeup Cooling Water as my primer today. But, so one of the first things I thought I would just mention is that Mormons believe that Jesus Christ is the Savior of the world and the Son of our loving Heavenly Father. So that is a very similar tenet to most Christian religions. We do feel that we are Christians because our whole belief system is on, or based on Christ. Christ's atonement allows mankind to be saved for their sins and return to live with God and their forever families. So through Christ, we can return to live with God, which again is another very similar tenet to other Christian religions. But one thing that does make us a little different is that we believe that our families can be together forever in the next life. Which is one of my favorite things about my religion. I love that I will be able to be with my family forever. That kind of guarantees that I will be seeing them in the next life, which means a lot to me. I love my family. Even when they're driving me crazy, I love my family. So that to me is something that is really important and one thing that I really do enjoy about being a Latter-day Saint. So as I say that, Mormon is kind of a nickname for our religion. The actual name of the Mormon religion is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So oftentimes we are called Mormon, LDS, and things like that. But the real name, again, is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We do believe in the Bible, despite some very interesting, I guess, popular beliefs of some other religions. We do believe in the Bible. We do read the Bible. We also have the Book of Mormon, which we believe is another testament of Christ, meaning that we believe that it's from the people in the early Americas type of a thing, and that he came to the Americas and testified to those people as well. So, and it's all about that and how those people, you know, got here and things and their journey. It's very similar to the Bible. Just similar things going on in different places. We have temples just like they had temples in ancient times and in the Bible. Temples are very near and dear to our hearts. I was married in the temple, and it meant a lot to me as well as to my family to be able to be married and sealed to my husband. We are not married to death do us part. We are married forever, which I think is pretty cool. Some people might not, but I do. We consider temples to be houses of the Lord. They are very sacred to us. Yeah, and if you've you can go and visit temple grounds. You might not be able to go in. Sometimes you can go in. There are times where they do allow outside visitors in when they've built a new temple, things like that. They will allow people to kind of see the new temple and things like that. One thing that I try very hard to remember about my religion is that we're not all perfect. Religion is, in general, about making yourself better, and that is exactly what it means to be a Latter-day Saint, is you're trying to make yourself better. We do try and be good examples and things, but we're not perfect. And for anyone to express that they are perfect in general is just so false. We are not perfect. We're not expected to be perfect by any means. And you'll hear people that will say, you know, the church is not for the perfect. It's not. We have a saying kind of in our church, the church is true, but the people might not always be, meaning that the people aren't perfect, but a lot of the core beliefs in Mormonism are good and of value. So keep that in mind. I mean, Mormons have very different backgrounds. We're not all the same. They come from so many different places around the world. They have different life circumstances, different things that have gone on in their life, different socioeconomic statuses, just so many differences. It's impossible for us all to be grouped or lumped in one way. I mean, I have friends who are very, very right-wing conservative that are Mormon, and then there are people similar to me that kind of fit somewhere in the middle, where we're not 100% completely conservative or left-wing. I mean, there's even left-wing Mormons. So we're like, I don't want to say a melting pot because that's not quite the right term. We're just a mix of very different people, I guess. And that makes it fun and interesting, but it also is where I think a lot of people get kind of confused. Because there is kind of like the mainstream idea, I guess, of what it means to be Mormon, and that we're all supposed to be very perfect, and that's just not where, you know, we are. We're not perfect. Sorry, my eyebrows are going to take me a little bit, and so I might stop talking for a little bit. Because eyebrows. I don't like this eyebrow. Where is my... I don't know, it just kind of, it's there. We're just going to leave it. We have prophets and apostles like they did in the Bible. Especially, it's very similar to how Christ set up his church in the Bible, with prophets and apostles. And I mean, it's been kind of a similar trend throughout that. So we have the prophet, who is the head of our church. And then we have the apostles, who help kind of govern and go out and talk to people and do various different things in terms of like Mormon ministry work and things. So in a lot of ways we are very similar to Christian religions. There are just things like the temple that make us a little different, as well as our belief in that there is no death to us part. It is a forever commitment type of a thing when you get married. Not saying that there aren't people who get divorced or anything like that. There are, and that's fine. We all have different things, as I said, different trials, different struggles in life, and we're all, you know, kind of brought on a different kind of, I guess, journey in a way. So and again, if there's like specific questions that you have, you can leave them in the comments down below. I will also have some things linked. I kind of feel like I'm scatterbrained because I am nervous about talking about this online. Not that I'm like embarrassed or anything that I'm Mormon. It's nothing like that. It's just I feel like there's so much to cover, or people have specific questions, and I was just kind of asked to do just like a generalized video on it. And so I'm a little nervous. Kind of why I'm okay with doing makeup right now. But yeah, one thing that I got that was kind of brought up to me by somebody before I even did this video, we were having a discussion about how Mormons believe in personal revelation, and for whatever reason people kind of get it like that we're having like grand visions or something like they did in the Bible, and that's not really how personal revelation works. I guess the simplest way to explain personal revelation is answers to prayers. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's like a grand like thing happening. It's just personal revelation is an answer to a prayer. And so that's what we mean when we say personal revelation, because to us it is God revealing an answer to us, and so that is why we call it personal revelation. Here's a fun one that I get asked all the time, like all the time, that I think is kind of funny, and it's usually by people online. It's not usually by people who actually know me in real life that are not LDS. It is, oh, so does your husband have more wives? No, 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 no. Would not even allow it. My husband does not have more wives. We'll never have more wives. I am not okay with that. At all. We do not practice polygamy or believe in polygamy. The church that does is the FLDS church, or the ones that they're, I guess, Reformed LDS, I guess they would almost call themselves, but we do not practice polygamy. We do not believe in it. Yet there was a brief time that polygamy was used, but you also have to kind of consider the time frame and the history and the persecution of Mormons and how hard it was for women at that time to live on their own. They literally needed a man to own property and things like that. So, I mean, you can't quite blame them. There was also polygamy in the Bible, so there's that too. But no, we do not practice polygamy. Polygamy is strictly prohibited in our church. It is grounds for excommunication. So no, we do not practice polygamy at all. So I hope that answers that question, because I get that one a lot. And now, when I was younger, it used to really bug me. And now I just kind of find it funny, because I'm like, really? Do you see my husband with anyone else? I mean, no. And it's just kind of funny, like, I guess that just how people don't want to inform themselves, because there's kind of this like thought that if you go and talk to a Mormon, they're really going to try and convert you. No, generally we'll just answer your questions. I mean, if you want more about our church and you're very interested, we might ask if you want the missionaries, just because the missionaries are trained to answer a ton of questions. As I said, I don't know everything. There's things that I still have to look up about my religion, and I grew up Mormon my whole life. So, yeah. So one thing that I think most people notice or know is that Mormons do not smoke or drink. We abstain from alcohol and smoking. I mean, obvious health reasons. We kind of have a health code that we call the Word of Wisdom. We also do not drink coffee or tea, aside from maybe like an herbal tea. I usually do herbal tea when I'm sick, but we do not go through and drink coffee or tea. I'll still get stuff at Starbucks, so there's things at Starbucks I can drink. They have herbal teas, as well as I'm so excited because I love their hot chocolate. So those are just kind of some things to kind of keep in mind as far as Mormonism is concerned. We also like to dress very modestly. If you've noticed, I usually have sleeves on. I usually wear things that go down to my knee. I'm actually very, very uncomfortable in certain things, like to the point that even my husband thinks it's kind of weird, but that's how I grew up. That's how I'm comfortable dressed. Yeah. I like being dressed modestly. I don't know. It's just kind of a thing, I guess. One other thing that I got asked is about what's the deal with the temple garments you have to wear. So these are things that we wear that they are an outward expression of an inward commitment. What this means is we wear them to remind us of the covenants that we made with God, or the promises that we made with God in the temple. So truly they are to remind us of those commitments and things. So they are very much for our spiritual well-being, I guess you would say, in terms of what we are kind of what we believe, and how we have made those promises and how they impact our lives, and that to have something that is a daily reminder really does kind of put your focus on God and on those things. So it's just a way for us to kind of keep those things in mind and to really have them close and near and dear to our hearts. So that is why we do that. I'm trying to see if I have anything else here. We do go to church for 3 hours, so I'll kind of explain that. We have sacrament meeting, which is like the main worship service, and then we have Sunday school for anyone who is 12 or older. We have nursery for the littles, like I would say, I think it's 18 months to about 3, and then from 3 to 11 there's something called primary, and then the third hour is usually switched for anyone older, 12 and up. 12 to 18 there are young men's classes or priesthood for older men, for anyone above 18. And then there is Relief Society, which is for the women, or Young Women's, which is for the younger women. And all of these classes, you know, are designed to kind of bring us closer to our Heavenly Father. So it goes, I guess it goes sacrament meeting, Sunday school, and then Relief Society. And I will be the first to say that I am not perfect at attending church all the time. Sometimes it's really hard, especially with my work schedule, but I do try and go at least to sacrament meeting. Sorry, I'm trying to do my eyeliner. Okay, we're good. Where's the lid? So I kind of hope that this did answer some questions as far as what it means to be Mormon, what Mormons believe. As I said, you can always ask questions down below. That's not going to bug me in any way, and I will do my best to get the answer. I don't have all of the answers about my religion. I mean, I don't know who does about their own religion. It is not easy to know everything, because there are always things that I'm learning and stuff from church and from other people, and there's just so much information. I think it would be hard to learn it all. So yeah, and I think that is something that is fascinating about religions, is that in general you're not going to know it all, and that's okay. It's definitely okay not to know everything. And it took me a while to learn, you don't have to have an answer to every question that somebody asks you. You can say, you know, I don't know, let me ask somebody and I'll find out. And that goes with more than just religion. Okay, so I'm going to use some blush. I'm trying to think of anything else to say or discuss. Oh, one thing that I've been told a lot is that you worship Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith, I guess, kind of founded our church, but we do not worship him. We revere him as a prophet, but he is not on the same level as God by any means, or as on the same level as Christ. I'm actually going to use this palette to contour. So we do not feel that he is on the same level as God by any means, and I think a lot of people kind of mix that up. And think that we do, and it's really funny because when we tell people we don't, you would think the people who live the religion or know the religion would be believed, but that's not always the case, and that to me is very funny, because I'm like, okay. Or people are like, I googled it and da 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 said, okay, cool, that's, you know, but I'm telling you what I believe, you know, and not, I try really hard not to argue with people when it comes to religion. It is not worth it by any means. I will say that if you do get combative in the comments, I probably will just ignore you. Because religion is a very personal thing to each person. And, you know, some people are open to learning about new religions or open to learning about somebody else's religion just in general. And other people are very closed off. And that's fine too. I mean, I get it. You want to stick with your own religion. I'm not here to force my beliefs on anyone. Ever. Like, that's not my job. I don't want to force my beliefs on anyone, and I would just hope that other people could give me the same respect that I give them. I like to learn about other people's religions too, and I'll ask questions, because in all honesty, I don't want to be ignorant, and I don't want to offend anyone. I have friends who are Muslim, I have friends who are Jehovah's Witness, I have friends who are Christian, I have friends who are atheists, I have friends who are agnostic, and it's taken a few years, but we've learned to have a dialogue about our different beliefs and be respectful of each other because of our different beliefs, and I think that is very important to remember. I don't think anyone can be wrong when it comes to their personal beliefs. That is not something I would ever say to anyone or would ever want anyone to say to me. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind as you do comment. Thank you guys so much, and I do hope that you enjoyed this video. And I will see you on the next one. Thanks again. Hope you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Thank you again, and bye!